MLB The Show is entering its third year on the Nintendo Switch. Now, while the past two games have been a little bit underwhelming in terms of visuals and performance, does this trend continue in 2024? Now, moreover, are there any updates to modes or gameplay that make this one notable? We get into all this and more in this review. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Danny from the Famicast here. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Sound off in the comments down below, and we may read it out on our bi-weekly show called the Famicast. If you're curious about checking out this review in written form, you can do that over on our website, thefamicast.com. Today, though, we're taking a look at MLB The Show 24 on the Nintendo Switch in this review. Not much has changed with gameplay for the Show 24, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Controls remain tight, and the default settings make it pretty easy for just about anybody to jump in and play. Of course, things can be tweaked to your liking. I personally stick with single button controls for batting, the meter style for pitching, and turn off fielding accuracy for defense. Just more fun for me to play that way. Of course, play as you see fit. One new wrinkle was added to the player lock segments of the game when playing on defense. Now, in previous games, when controlling a fielder, you often have to move the right stick in like a set amount of time and press ZR to make a throw. Yeah, pretty basic, and once you get it down, you can start making those throws all the time. Now, while this is still present, additional button prompts have also been added, possibly in an attempt to make the gameplay a little bit more fresh. Now, after playing quite a bit of the series without this, like, last year and the year before, it can be a bit jarring and hectic when you're not used to it. I still make a lot of stupid mistakes, kind of like what you're seeing right now. But that should change over time. Now, I understand, again, what the studio is trying to do with this, but I'm not sure if I quite like it at the moment. It might just have to grow on me, though. All the modes that were found in last year's version of the game have returned. You'll be able to play exhibition games, including retro style as well, Diamond Dynasty, March to October, franchise, online play, Road to the Show, and storylines. Now, like previous entries, there really is a lot to do, and I think there's really is a mode in here for everyone. Now, for this review, though, I'm going to be focusing on the newest additions here with the updates to Road to the Show and storylines. Now, for the first time ever, San Diego Studios is giving players the choice to create and play as a female baseball player. Now, not only this, but they've also added new story elements and a buddy character named Mia Lewis for you to interact with on your journey to the bigs. You'll even occasionally chat with me on the phone in the game, and even have the ability to choose from a handful of dialogue options. Now, on top of this, other broadcast-specific elements highlight this historic moment of a woman joining the majors is also here too. These video clips refer to your character, not by name or anything, and Lewis, and discuss the impact of all that's at hand. Now, character creation here remains exactly the same as with male characters, though body types are a little bit more limited. Now, I attempted to recreate Perfect Dark's Joanna Dark in the game to a moderate level of success. You can say utter failure, whatever. Again, outside of the story elements, gameplay and everything else remains pretty much the same no matter what sex you choose. I didn't feel either as though my character had any advantages or disadvantages skill-wise based on being a male or female. Although the ability to play as a female in Road to the Show is kind of one of the big deals this year, that's not to say that Road to the Show as a male player was completely left behind. Now, the mode overall has seen a little bit of a facelift, so on-screen elements such as the broadcast and menu visuals, these have all been updated just a little bit. Also to the mysterious voice that would occasionally chime in with what's happening in the baseball player's life and all that stuff that was in 2022 and 23. That's completely gone. Now, the video clips, minus ones that mention female players specifically or stuff about that, they're here too for the male characters. Now, the addition of the draft combine and the draft itself, which are also available with the women, that's also here for the males too. Now, in the previous two games, you would basically just choose a team to be drafted by, and then you'd see a splash screen with your character standing in front of it, like a logo or with a hat on or something like that. Kind of anticlimactic. Now, in the Show 24, this is a little bit more involved, as your player will actually, maybe walk out of the stage. I was too low of a draft pick to do that, but, the commissioner's out there basically calling your name and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a little bit more of a proper draft experience. Now, again, this is the same as either with a male or female. As a male, you'll also have access to dialogue choices here when talking to somebody like your agent or coaches and stuff like that. probably the biggest difference here between either playing as a male or female is just this buddy character. And unfortunately, the male character does not have that. But, that's maybe something that they can add in a future game or something. We'll just kind of have to see. Road to the Show has always been one of my favorite modes in the show. I like being able to see my player grow and make it to the majors as quickly as they possibly can. Now, the gameplay loop that the mode is known for is still here, and I really like that. And if you liked that in the past, I think you'll like it here too. Now, while there are some small quality of life improvements, I still think they can go a little bit further. I mean, they could go crazy with the mode in a similar way that, 2K does with the My Player mode, or what they had done. Including voice acting, greater interaction with agents and other players and other people and stuff like that. I think an expansion of this mode to that level will definitely depend a lot on how this year is received. But yeah, even with NBA 2K, there could be some times where, they would have some good moments, but they would have some really bad ones. So it's kind of a real balancing act with that. But again, we're just going to kind of have to wait and see if and or how San Diego Studios expands upon this in the future. We've played one inning. Storylines return in the show 24 with another chapter looking at the Negro Leagues and a special look at the early parts of the career of the New York Yankees' Derek Jeter. Now, for the Negro Leagues, Season 2 picks up basically where last year left off, offering a look at some other players that you may or may not have ever heard of. Now, there are 4 here on offer, including a look at Hank Aaron. And for those unfamiliar, if you just need a refresher, this mode is basically a blend of a documentary and playable aspects. It's narrated by a guy named Bob Kendricks, who is the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City. And the videos here basically feature stories kind of like in this animated form, kind of mixed in with real video or audio and stuff like that, if available. Now, the missions here have players perform a variety of tasks, such as get a certain number of hits, in a certain number of tries, stuff like that. Era-specific uniforms, stadiums, and fans are also present here too. Now, Season 2, like its first iteration last year, I think this is awesome, and yet again introduces fans to players that they might not be familiar with. Now, another bonus too, unlike last year, you no longer have to clear an episode to move on to the next. Simply playing one will give you the option to skip it if things are getting a little bit too challenging. Now, completely new to the show 24 is the second part of the mode, Storylines Derek Jeter. This takes a look at the storied career of the New York Yankees shortstop from 1995 to 2000. Now, since the entirety of Derek Jeter's career was played in New York, a selection menu here is based around kind of like this artistic recreation of the city's subway system. Now, similar to the Negro Leagues, this chapter of Storylines features classic video clips and interview clips with the captain himself. Now, missions here are varied, though a majority of them are based around hitting. Now, things are changed up just a little bit with the inclusion of a handful of missions featuring the Core Four, or other players that helped the Yankees dominate other teams during this period of time. Now, there are over 20 missions here, so you likely won't be playing this mode for dozens of hours or anything like that. I honestly think you could probably easily blow through this in mode in a weekend or a long evening if you like, depending on how you play. There still is more to come for the Jeter storylines kind of little note in the game, but I think that just means that we'll see the continuation of the story in next year's game. Overall, I'm pretty happy to see San Diego Studios expand upon the storyline section of the game. Now, in terms of gameplay, the episodes focus heavily on batting, which is fine and kind of understandable considering the players being highlighted. That's not a knock on the mode really at all, as I do find it really enjoyable. Being able to skip past some of the episodes and come back later is also a welcome addition here too. Now, given the rich history of MLB and just professional baseball in general, there are so many possibilities for this mode in the future. I'm really excited to see what the team will come up with next. Now, if you've played MLB The Show on the Switch, you'll know what to expect, as things remain largely unchanged in terms of visuals and performance. Now, graphics and visuals on the Switch are definitely a step back from what you're going to find on any other platform. Textures are flat and a little bit bland. Details on uniforms and signs lack detail. And the details of the crowd seems to have kind of actually taken a step back this year. They seem a little bit more fuzzy. Now, even with that said, there still is quite a nice amount of detail and facial expressions, equipment, and more. Now, similar to the past 2 games on the Switch, the frame rate can still be an issue in the show 24. Some aspects, like menus, like stuff like that, those run super smoothly. But in-game action is a different story. Gameplay usually isn't impacted by this, so I can kind of overlook it. But on the other hand, it's always a little bit jarring to see some of the pre-game cinematics with players kind of like just slowing to a crawl as they're running out or something like that. So if you're really interested in higher fidelity visuals, this version might not be for you. Now, if you want a game that looks pretty good and that you can play natively on a handheld, I think the Switch version is fine. And speaking of handheld mode, the game looks and runs in a similar manner that it does on the TV. Not mind-blowing, but good enough. Another thing I thought that was kind of a little bit weird here too, the mini video clips that are sprinkled throughout storylines and Road to the Show, these are a little bit low resolution in this version of the game, which I found a little bit disappointing. Now, one of the bigger changes, and this is a little bit boring for most, I think, has to do with the broadcast graphic elements and stuff like that before the games. Now, in the show 22 and 23, these were full-on stuttering messes and, generally speaking, just, not smooth at all. And in 24, these are quite a bit smoother. I'd say almost perfect. And, obviously this has no bearing at all on the gameplay, but I thought it was at least noteworthy here. And when it's all said and done, this isn't going to blow you away or anything like that. It just gets the job done. It's a lot better than what it was last year. Sound here is also pretty well done, with the bulk of commentating work being done once again by Boog Shambi and Chris Singleton. Now, they have another play-by-play announcer that has been added when playing basically non-Major League Baseball levels of play. I mean, it's overall pretty decent, but if you've heard Boog and Singleton a lot over the past couple of years, you might be feeling that it's about time for a change. Circles the bases, and they grab MLB The Show 24 is another great entry into this storied series. The gameplay remains great, the new additions to storylines are fantastic, and the update to Road to the Show is also a step in the right direction. Performance and lackluster visuals are still an issue in the Switch version, but that will not likely change until Nintendo moves on to more powerful hardware. Now, if you missed out on last year's game or just really into baseball, I think The Show 24 is a lot of fun to play on the Switch and worth your time and money. But let's go ahead and turn things over to you guys. Did you or do you plan on picking up The Show 24? What platform? What are some other players or little-known stories you would like to see in storylines? What do you think about this update to Road to the Show? Sound off in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to drop this video a like. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. We've got tons of podcasts, video reviews, looks at sports games on the Switch, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.
His plan was to hit the ball hard, and he was going to figure out the rest later.